Halo 3, it's almost nuts to release a first-person shooter for the next 6 months. It's hard enough to stand out in this overcrowded genre in February, and trying so soon after Microsoft's 800-pound gorilla has just smashed the market almost seems like suicide. But Sierra and Saber Interactive have something a bit different with TimeShift, and over a half-decade in development, there's no time like the present.
Everybody out! Evac! Evac!
You're the wearer of one of 2 time-shifting suits, except yours is malfunctioning just a bit. You've been sent to an alternate timeline from your own, one where civil war is raging and a despotic leader is squashing the very notion of freedom. As in most first-person shooters, the story is pretty inconsequential, mere window dressing to explain away some of the game's more creative aspects. In this case, the time-bending abilities your avatar possesses. Sure, a bit of the story plays out every now and then, but you'll find yourself caring less and less as the game goes on. TimeShift offers up all the various play options you'd expect from a shooter. First up is the meaty campaign mode, where the aforementioned story plays out amongst a collection of expansive levels and decently challenging missions. While there are a few puzzles to solve every now and then, the game consists mostly of straightforward stand-up gunfights connected by corridors. The other main play option is a handful of multiplayer modes, all of which can be played online with up to 16 players. And while TimeShift features the standard deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the flag, and other multiplayer game types, it's the various options you can play with that make it stand apart. Want one-hit kills? You got them. Or maybe super armor for everyone. You can do that too. Although TimeShift doesn't quite reach Halo 3 proportions of play options, it has enough to set it apart from most of the field. And then there's that unique time-shifting option. For the most part, TimeShift is a pretty standard shooter. You get a decent selection of weapons, some grenades, and then go blow the hell out of anything that moves. But the time-shifting part of TimeShift is the really interesting bit. Your suit has the ability to slow down and stop time for a certain period. And this can be used as a battle tactic, a way to solve puzzles, and a way to correct recent mistakes. Think of it as Blinks meets Halo. So entering a firefight when you're outnumbered 12-1 isn't a huge deal in TimeShift, since you can stop time and run around ventilating your foes. Or, better yet, run around and steal all their weapons, and then let time resume and watch them flee for their lives.
How'd he do that? What in the world?
Or you can rewind time in order to get through a collapsing tunnel before it caves in, or how about slowing down time so you can run through a closing gate? There are loads of uses for this feature, and although some of them are pretty cliched, the whole thing never gets old.
All units advise!
In multiplayer, things are a bit different. Here, instead of stopping entire matches with your powers, which would be stupid, your grenades are concentrated pockets of time manipulation. Hit your enemy with a time-stopping grenade, and you can pretty much do anything to them for a few seconds. It's a really unique take on the traditional deathmatch and capture the flag setups.
Blue flag taken.
TimeShift isn't the most amazing game you've likely ever seen, but it does look really good nonetheless. From the first level, the mood is set perfectly, and the game never lets up from there. The gritty, war-torn alternate future looks as run down as it should, and with the addition of some really pretty weather effects, the whole thing comes together very nicely. Especially considering it started life on the original Xbox. The time-stopping fun is handled really well too. It's especially nice to see individual raindrops freeze as you slow time down and run around disarming a whole group of enemies. In general, it's as interesting to look at as it is to play. First-person shooters are a dime a dozen, and while TimeShift doesn't do anything particularly new to video games, it's a pretty unique take on the genre that works extremely well in the long run. The creative single-player campaign will keep you playing for a while, and the rockin' multiplayer options will keep you coming back for more. TimeShift deserves your attention.